Imagine Mike, a 52-year-old man with a successful career that he's built over decades, a loving partner he's been with for 25 years, a life that by most measures looks complete and fulfilling. Yet, despite all these accomplishments and blessings, Mike has been noticing something shifting inside him, something that's been causing him quiet concern and frustration that he hasn't felt comfortable sharing with anyone. Where once the spark of sexual desire was constant and reliable, something he could count on, now his libido feels dampened, muted, like a fire that's slowly burning lower. His sexual desire has become inconsistent and unpredictable in ways that confuse and worry him. Intimacy with his partner, which used to feel exciting and natural, now sometimes feels more like a chore he has to push himself through rather than the thrilling experience it once was. He fears losing that sexual connection that has been such an important part of their relationship for so many years. And he fears losing that sense of masculinity and vitality that used to come so naturally to him without any effort or thought. This is the story of Mike, but it's also the story of millions of men after 50, and it's the exact story we're going to tackle head-on in this video with real solutions that actually work. Hello, and welcome to another video here on the channel. Today, I'm going to share with you the proven blueprint to reignite your libido after 50 years of age. This is a practical, no-fluff guide based on science, clinical experience, and real results that men just like you have achieved. If you're watching this content right now, you're probably experiencing some of what Mike is going through, or maybe you're concerned about preventing these issues before they become serious problems. Either way, you're in the right place because we're going to cover everything you need to know to reclaim your sexual vitality regardless of your age. Before we dive in, if you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss upcoming videos about men's health, relationships, vitality, and living your best life after 50. And if this content resonates with you as we go through it, leave a like down below to help more men find this crucial information that can transform their lives and relationships. Let me continue with Mike's story because I think you'll see yourself in his experience. Throughout his adult life, Mike always had a healthy sex drive. It wasn't something he thought about or worried about. It was just there, reliable and present. In his 20s and 30s, desire came easily and frequently. Even through his 40s, while things might have slowed down slightly from the intensity of youth, his libido was still strong and his sexual relationship with his partner was vibrant and satisfying for both of them. But somewhere in his early 50s, Mike started noticing real changes that couldn't be ignored or explained away. The spontaneous desire he used to feel throughout the day became rare. He wasn't waking up with morning erections as consistently. When his partner initiated intimacy, sometimes he found himself going through the motions rather than feeling genuinely aroused and excited. The mental and emotional connection to sexuality seemed to be fading, and this scared him deeply because sexuality had always been such an important part of his identity and his relationship. Mike started wondering if this was just the inevitable reality of aging, something he simply had to accept and live with for the rest of his life. He wondered if his partner noticed the change and what she thought about it, whether she felt rejected or unattractive, whether their relationship would suffer because of his declining libido. He felt a sense of loss, almost like grieving for a part of himself that seemed to be disappearing. The confidence and sense of masculine vitality that had always been there was being replaced by uncertainty, self-doubt, and quiet shame. He didn't know who to talk to about this or what to do, so for months he just suffered in silence, hoping things would somehow improve on their own. But of course they didn't. Maybe you identify completely with Mike's experience. Maybe you're living something very similar right now at this exact moment in your life. Maybe you've noticed your libido declining, your spontaneous desire becoming rare, your interest in sex diminishing in ways that worry you and affect your relationship. If that's the case, I want you to know right now that what you're experiencing is absolutely real. It's valid, it deserves serious attention, and most importantly, it is not inevitable, and it can be reversed. You don't have to resign yourself to a life with diminished sexuality. You don't have to accept low libido as your permanent reality. There are proven strategies that can reignite your sexual desire and bring back that vitality you thought was gone forever. And that's exactly what we're going to cover in detail in this video. Before we get into the solutions, we need to understand why libido drops with age. Because when you understand the mechanisms behind the problem, you can address them systematically and effectively. There are several interconnected factors that contribute to declining libido after 50. And we need to look at each one honestly and clearly, so you know exactly what you're dealing with. First, and most obviously, we have hormonal changes, especially regarding testosterone. Testosterone is the primary male sex hormone, and it plays a crucial role in libido, sexual desire, erectile function, energy levels, mood, motivation, and overall masculine vitality. Starting around age 30, testosterone levels begin declining naturally at a rate of approximately 1 to 1.5% per year. That might not sound like much in any single year, but over 20 or 25 years, that cumulative decline adds up to a very significant reduction. By the time a man reaches 50 or 55, his testosterone levels might be 30 to 40% lower than they were in his 20s and 30s. This substantial drop directly impacts libido because testosterone is literally the fuel for sexual desire in men. Lower testosterone means lower sex drive, reduced spontaneous arousal, fewer sexual thoughts throughout the day, and less intense physical response to sexual stimuli. It's not just about testosterone levels, though. It's also about the balance between testosterone and estrogen. Because as men age, and especially as they gain abdominal fat, more testosterone gets converted into estrogen through that aromatase enzyme we talked about, creating a hormonal imbalance that further suppresses libido. Second, we have blood flow and vascular health issues. Sexual arousal and function depend heavily on adequate blood circulation throughout the body and specifically to the genital region. As men age, particularly if they have poor lifestyle habits, their vascular health tends to decline. The endothelium, which is the inner lining of blood vessels, becomes less efficient at producing nitric oxide, which is essential for vasodilation and blood flow. Arteries can become stiffer and less elastic. Plaque buildup from atherosclerosis reduces the diameter of blood vessels. All of these vascular changes mean less blood flow to the penis and other sexual organs, which translates directly into reduced physical arousal, weaker erections, and diminished sexual response. When the physical mechanism of arousal is impaired, the mental desire often follows downward because your brain and body are connected, And when your body isn't responding the way it should, your mind starts to anticipate failure and shuts down desire as a protective mechanism. Third, we have neurotransmitter changes, particularly involving dopamine. Dopamine is the neurotransmitter most associated with pleasure, reward, motivation, and desire. It's what drives you to pursue pleasurable activities, including sex. As men age, dopamine production and receptor sensitivity can decline. Additionally, modern lifestyle factors like excessive screen time, internet pornography use, constant digital stimulation, and lack of novelty in life can actually desensitize dopamine receptors, requiring stronger and stronger stimuli to feel pleasure and desire. This is why many men find that their desire for real intimacy with a real partner declines while they might still respond to novel digital sexual content. It's a sign of dopamine dysregulation that needs to be addressed. Fourth, nutritional deficiencies play a much larger role than most men realize. Many men over 50 are deficient in key nutrients that are essential for sexual function and libido. Vitamin D deficiency is extremely common and is directly linked to low testosterone levels. Zinc is crucial for testosterone production and sexual function, yet many men don't get adequate zinc from their diet. Magnesium is important for hundreds of biochemical reactions in the body, including hormone production and vascular function. Omega-3 fatty acids are essential for cardiovascular health and hormone synthesis. B vitamins are critical for energy production and neurotransmitter function. When your body lacks these essential nutrients, your sexual system simply cannot function optimally, no matter what else you do. Fifth, sleep quality and quantity have a massive impact on libido. Testosterone is produced primarily during deep sleep, particularly during REM cycles. If you're not getting 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep per night, you're literally preventing your body from producing adequate testosterone. Additionally, poor sleep increases cortisol, the stress hormone, which suppresses testosterone and libido even further. Many men over 50 have undiagnosed sleep apnea or other sleep disorders that severely impair their sleep quality and therefore their hormonal production and sexual function. Sixth, chronic stress and elevated cortisol are libido killers. By the time men reach their 50s, they often carry decades of accumulated stress from career pressures, financial responsibilities, family obligations, aging parents, and life transitions. Chronic stress keeps cortisol levels elevated, and elevated cortisol directly suppresses testosterone production and sexual desire. Your body literally cannot maintain high stress and high libido at the same time. It's physiologically impossible because these systems work in opposition to each other. Seventh, life transitions and psychological factors come into play. Many men in their 50s are dealing with major life changes like children leaving home, career transitions, aging and mortality awareness, relationship changes, and shifting sense of identity and purpose. These psychological and emotional factors can significantly impact libido because sexual desire isn't just physical. It's deeply connected to your mental and emotional state. If you're feeling uncertain about your life direction, anxious about aging, disconnected from your sense of purpose, or emotionally distant from your partner, your libido will naturally decline regardless of your hormones or physical health. Now that you understand why libido drops with age, the next crucial step is assessing your current status honestly and accurately. You need to know where you stand right now before you can create an effective plan to improve. Let me give you some simple questions you can ask yourself to evaluate your situation. First, how often do you experience spontaneous sexual desire, meaning desire that arises on its own without deliberate stimulation or effort? If it's less than once or twice per week, that's a sign of suppressed libido. Second, how often do you wake up with morning erections? Morning erections are a sign of healthy testosterone levels and vascular function. If you rarely or never have them, that's a red flag. Third, when your partner initiates intimacy, do you feel genuinely aroused and excited, or do you feel like you're going through the motions out of obligation? If it's the latter, that indicates low desire. Fourth, how often do you think about sex throughout the day? If sexual thoughts are rare or absent, that suggests low libido. Fifth, when you do engage in sexual activity, how intense is your pleasure and how strong is your physical response? If both are diminished compared to your younger years, that's another indicator of declining sexual function. Beyond these self-assessment questions, there are some basic lab tests you should seriously consider getting if you're experiencing low libido. Schedule an appointment with your doctor and request a comprehensive hormone panel, including total testosterone, free testosterone, SHBG, which is sex hormone binding globulin, estradiol, which is the primary estrogen, prolactin, LH, and FSH, which are pituitary hormones, and thyroid hormones including TSH, free T3, and free T4. These tests will give you and your doctor a clear picture of your hormonal status and whether there are treatable imbalances. Additionally, you should get metabolic markers checked including fasting glucose, insulin, hemoglobin A1C to assess for insulin resistance and diabetes risk, lipid panel to check cholesterol and cardiovascular risk, and inflammatory markers like C-reactive protein. Vitamin D levels should also be checked because deficiency is so common and so impactful on testosterone and overall health. There are also some red flags you absolutely should not ignore because they could indicate serious underlying health issues that need immediate medical attention. If you experience sudden, complete loss of libido rather than gradual decline, that warrants urgent evaluation. If you have complete inability to achieve erections even with direct stimulation, that could indicate significant vascular disease or neurological problems. If you have pain with erections or during sexual activity, that needs medical evaluation. If you notice testicular shrinkage or breast tissue growth, those are signs of serious hormonal imbalances. If you have symptoms of depression including persistent sadness, loss of interest in all activities, changes in sleep or appetite, or suicidal thoughts, you need to seek mental health care immediately because depression severely impacts libido and quality of life. Now let's get into what you really came here for, the 4-step blueprint to reignite your libido after 50. This is a systematic approach that addresses all the factors we've discussed in a practical, actionable way. If you follow this blueprint consistently, you will see significant improvements in your sexual desire, function, and overall vitality. This isn't theory. This is the exact approach that has worked for thousands of men, including Mike, whose story we'll return to shortly. Step 1 is restore your hormones through safe and effective strategies. If your lab tests show that your testosterone is genuinely low, not just lower than optimal, but actually clinically low, then testosterone replacement therapy may be appropriate for you, and you should have a serious conversation with your doctor about it. Testosterone replacement can be done through various methods including injections, topical gels, patches, or pellets implanted under the skin. Each method has advantages and disadvantages, and your doctor can help you choose what's best for your specific situation. However, and this is critically important, testosterone replacement is not appropriate for everyone, and it does have potential risks and side effects that need to be carefully monitored. It's contraindicated if you have prostate cancer, severe heart disease, or certain other conditions. It requires regular blood work monitoring to ensure your levels stay in healthy ranges and to watch for side effects. Never, and I mean absolutely never, start testosterone replacement on your own without proper medical supervision. That said, for men with genuinely low testosterone who are appropriate candidates, testosterone replacement can be life-changing, dramatically improving libido, energy, mood, erectile function, muscle mass, and overall quality of life. Even if you don't pursue testosterone replacement, there are natural strategies to optimize your body's own hormone production. Lose excess body fat, particularly abdominal fat, because that visceral fat converts testosterone to estrogen and promotes hormonal imbalance. Engage in regular strength training with heavy compound movements like squats, deadlifts, and presses because these exercises naturally stimulate testosterone production. Get 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep every night in a dark, cool, quiet room because testosterone is produced during deep sleep. Manage your stress through meditation, breath work, time in nature, or whatever works for you because lowering cortisol allows testosterone to rise. Supplement with vitamin D. If you're deficient, aim for blood levels between 50 and 80 nanograms per milliliter. Consider zinc supplementation, around 30 to 50 milligrams per day, especially if your diet is low in zinc-rich foods like oysters, red meat, and pumpkin seeds. Magnesium supplementation can also help, around 400 to 500 milligrams per day, of a well-absorbed form, like magnesium glycinate. Minimize alcohol consumption because alcohol suppresses testosterone production. Avoid xenoestrogens, which are environmental estrogen-mimicking chemicals found in plastics, pesticides, and personal care products. Step 2 is revamp your circulation through targeted nutrition, exercise, and vascular health practices. Your sexual function depends on healthy blood flow, so improving your cardiovascular health directly improves your sexual health. From a nutrition standpoint, adopt a diet that promotes vascular health and reduces inflammation. Dramatically increase your intake of vegetables, particularly leafy greens, cruciferous vegetables, and colorful vegetables rich in antioxidants and nitrates. Nitrates from vegetables like beets, arugula, and spinach get converted to nitric oxide in your body, which is essential for vasodilation and blood flow. Eat fatty fish like salmon, sardines, and mackerel at least 2 to 3 times per week for their omega-3 fatty acids that improve vascular function. Include foods rich in flavonoids like berries, dark chocolate with at least 70% cacao, and citrus fruits because flavonoids improve endothelial function. Use extra virgin olive oil as your primary fat source. Include nuts and seeds, particularly walnuts, almonds, and pumpkin seeds. Eat garlic and onions regularly for their circulation-boosting compounds. At the same time, eliminate or drastically reduce foods that damage vascular health, including processed foods, refined sugars, trans fats, excessive omega-6 vegetable oils, and highly processed meats. From an exercise standpoint, You need both cardiovascular training and strength training for optimal results. Cardiovascular exercise directly improves your heart and vascular system. Aim for at least 150 minutes per week of moderate intensity cardio like brisk walking, jogging, cycling, or swimming. This improves your heart's pumping capacity, increases blood vessel elasticity, promotes new blood vessel formation, and improves the health of your endothelium. Strength training builds muscle mass, which improves metabolic health and hormone production while also supporting vascular health. Aim for at least 2 to 3 strength training sessions per week, focusing on compound movements that work multiple large muscle groups. Consider specific supplements that support vascular health and blood flow. L-citrulline is an amino acid that converts to L-arginine and then to nitric oxide, improving blood flow. A typical dose is 6 to 8 grams per day. L-arginine itself can also be supplemented around 3 to 5 grams per day, though citrulline is often more effective. Pine bark extract, also called pycnogenol, has strong evidence for improving erectile function through its effects on nitric oxide and endothelial function. Typical dose is 100 to 200 milligrams per day. Omega-3 fish oil at doses of 2 to 3 grams per day. Of combined EPA and DHA supports cardiovascular health. Coenzyme Q10 at 100 to 200 milligrams per day supports mitochondrial function and cardiovascular health. Step 3 is reignite your mind by addressing psychological and behavioral factors that suppress libido. This is where many men overlook crucial elements because they focus only on the physical aspects and ignore the mental and relational components. First, if you use pornography regularly, you need to significantly reduce or completely eliminate it for a period of time. Internet pornography can literally rewire your brain's reward circuitry, desensitizing your dopamine receptors and making it harder to feel desire for real intimacy with a real partner. The novelty and intensity of porn creates unrealistic expectations and reduces your responsiveness to normal sexual stimuli. Many men find that when they quit porn for 60 to 90 days, their natural desire for their partner returns significantly. This isn't about moral judgment. This is about brain chemistry and conditioning. Second, reduce excessive screen time and digital stimulation in general. Constant scrolling, gaming, and digital entertainment keeps your dopamine system overstimulated and desensitized. Create regular periods of digital detox, particularly in the evening hours before bed. This allows your dopamine system to reset and become more sensitive to natural pleasures like intimacy. Third, actively increase novelty and intimacy with your partner. After 25 years together like Mike and his partner, it's natural for routines to develop and for sexual interactions to become predictable. But predictability and routine are libido killers because your brain craves novelty and excitement. You need to intentionally create new experiences together. This doesn't necessarily mean wild experimentation if that's not your style, but it does mean breaking patterns. Change locations, change times of day, change the sequence of activities. Introduce new forms of sensual touch. Communicate openly about desires and fantasies you've never shared. Plan special dates or getaways that recreate the excitement of earlier relationship stages. The goal is to activate the novelty and reward centers of your brain, which will naturally increase dopamine and desire. Fourth, work on emotional intimacy and connection outside the bedroom. Sexual desire is deeply connected to emotional closeness for most people in long-term relationships. If you've grown emotionally distant from your partner through years of routine and taken each other for granted, sexual desire naturally declines. You need to invest in regular, meaningful conversations. Express appreciation and affection daily. Show interest in your partner's inner world. Create shared experiences and memories, and address any resentments or unresolved conflicts that might be creating emotional distance. When emotional intimacy increases, sexual desire typically follows. Fifth, shift your mindset about sexuality and aging. Many men unconsciously accept the cultural narrative that sexuality declines and eventually ends as you age. This becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. You need to actively reject this limiting belief and embrace the truth that men can maintain vibrant sexuality well into their 70s, 80s, and beyond if they take care of their health. Your sexuality evolves with age. It doesn't end. It may become less focused on pure physical intensity and more integrated with emotional intimacy and connection, but that evolution can actually make sex more satisfying, not less. Cultivate a mindset that sees your sexuality as a vital part of your life that deserves attention, care, and cultivation, regardless of your age. Step 4 is sustain and scale by maintaining your gains, tracking your progress, and avoiding relapse into old patterns. Making changes for a few weeks or months is good, but the real transformation comes from maintaining new habits long term. Here's how to do that effectively. First, continue tracking key metrics just like you did during your initial 30-day assessment. Keep a simple log of your spontaneous desire frequency, morning erection frequency, sexual satisfaction, energy levels, and mood. This objective data helps you see patterns and catch any decline early before it becomes a major problem again. Second, schedule regular check-ins with yourself, maybe monthly, where you honestly assess how you're doing with each element of the blueprint. Are you maintaining your exercise routine? Has your diet slipped back toward processed foods? Are you getting adequate sleep? Have you fallen back into porn use or excessive screen time? Is emotional intimacy with your partner still a priority? These check-ins allow you to course correct quickly rather than drifting back to old patterns unconsciously. Third, build in accountability and support. Share your goals with your partner so she understands what you're working on and can support you. Consider working with a men's health coach or therapist if you need additional support and accountability. Join online communities of men focused on health and vitality who can encourage you and share experiences. Fourth, continue educating yourself about men's health, sexual function, relationships, and optimal aging. Subscribe to channels and resources that provide science-based information and inspiration. The more you learn, the more motivated and equipped you'll be to maintain your progress. Fifth, celebrate your wins and be patient with setbacks. There will be times when your libido dips or you face challenges. That's normal and expected. Don't interpret temporary setbacks as permanent failures. Acknowledge them, learn from them, adjust your approach, and keep moving forward. Now, let me tell you what happened with Mike when he implemented this blueprint. Mike scheduled an appointment with his doctor and got comprehensive lab work done. The results showed his total testosterone was at 320 nanograms per deciliter, which is technically within the very bottom of the normal range, but well below optimal for a man who wants to feel vibrant and vital. His vitamin D was deficient at 22 nanograms per milliliter. His fasting glucose and insulin showed early insulin resistance. Based on these results and after thorough discussion of risks and benefits, Mike and his doctor decided to start testosterone replacement therapy using weekly injections. Mike also started vitamin D supplementation at 5,000 IU daily. He completely overhauled his diet, eliminating processed foods and focusing on vegetables, quality proteins, and healthy fats. He started a consistent exercise program of strength training 3 times per week and walking 30 minutes daily. He quit pornography completely. He had honest conversations with his partner about what he was going through and what he was working on, and they committed to prioritizing intimacy and emotional connection. They started having weekly date nights and monthly weekend getaways. Mike also began a meditation practice for stress management and made sleep a non-negotiable priority. Within 6 weeks of implementing this comprehensive approach, Mike reported remarkable changes. His spontaneous sexual desire had increased by approximately 60% compared to before he started. He was thinking about sex more frequently throughout the day. Morning erections returned consistently. When his partner initiated intimacy, he felt genuinely aroused and excited, rather than just going through the motions. His erections were noticeably firmer and easier to achieve. Most importantly, he felt reconnected to his partner both emotionally and sexually. The anxiety and shame he had been carrying dissolved as his confidence returned. His overall energy, mood, and sense of vitality improved dramatically. Mike described feeling like himself again, like he had reclaimed a part of his identity that he thought was lost forever. If you recognize yourself in Mike's story, if you're experiencing declining libido and sexual vitality after 50, I want you to understand that you have the power to change your situation. You don't have to resign yourself to diminished sexuality. You don't have to accept low libido as your fate. The blueprint I've shared with you in this video works. It's based on science, it's proven by clinical experience, and it's been successfully implemented by thousands of men. But knowledge without action produces no results. You have to actually do the work. You have to schedule that doctor's appointment. You have to get those labs done. You have to change your diet and start exercising. You have to have those difficult conversations with your partner. You have to make sleep and stress management priorities. You have to break the porn habit if that's an issue for you. You have to do the inner work of shifting your mindset about aging and sexuality. The hero's journey doesn't stop at 50. It evolves and deepens. This phase of your life can be incredibly rich, meaningful, and sexually vital if you choose to make it so. You have wisdom, experience, resources, and hopefully more time and freedom than you had in your 30s and 40s when you were building your career and raising children. This is your opportunity to invest in yourself, your health, your relationships, and your vitality in ways you perhaps couldn't before. Don't waste this opportunity by passively accepting decline. Now, I want to ask you a direct question, and I need you to answer in the comments down below because I genuinely want to understand how I can best serve you and create content that addresses your specific needs. The question is, what is your single biggest pain point in your sexual health right now? Is it low libido and lack of desire? Is it performance anxiety and fear of not being able to perform? Is it erectile dysfunction or weak erections? Is it lack of emotional and sexual connection with your partner? Is it feeling disconnected from your masculinity and sense of identity? Is it shame or embarrassment about your situation? Is it confusion about what to do or where to start? Whatever it is, write it down in the comments below. Be honest. You can use a fake name if you want privacy, but share your real experience because this helps me create content that truly helps you and the thousands of other men watching who are going through similar struggles. If this video provided value to you, if you felt like someone finally addressed this issue with honesty and practical solutions, leave a like down below so that more men can find this information. Share this video with a friend who you know is struggling with these issues but might not have the courage to seek out information on his own. Maybe this is exactly what he needs to hear to take the first step toward reclaiming his vitality. Subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell because I'll continue creating deep, practical, science-based content about men's health, sexual vitality, relationships, and optimal aging. Thank you for watching until the very end. Your time and attention are valuable, and I hope I've honored that with truly useful content. Now take action. Schedule that doctor's appointment. Start making the dietary changes today. Take that first walk. Have that conversation with your partner tonight. The first step is always the hardest, but also the most important. I believe in your ability to transform your situation. I'll see you in the next video. Stay strong and keep moving forward. Tentar novamente ou Claude pode cometer erros. Confira sempre as respostas. Soné 4.5